Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long break, but we're here. We're here for round two, and Coffee took a little break, but I've got Scav back into the booth, the handsome, young, and one with a great tash.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that, Hyper, and I also want to thank for Coffee for giving me the opportunity to step in with him, you know, fill in those shoes of Hold My Coffee, as he himself will take a coffee break as well, no pun intended. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Manitoba Mallards versus the Toronto Falters here in the Silver Premade. Both 4-2 to their name, and both Hyper with something really big to prove here in the series.
They've got something massive to prove, and especially when you kind of have to follow up a 3-0 sweep that started off. You want to kind of bring the stage, you want to make sure that you're the team that does the 3-0, but I tell you what, already off the get-go, Flatliners having a great position here. They've got spawns, they've got the positions, they've got the kills, and they've got time. Off the get-go, this is going their way.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see too in the feed, right? Reflected in the bottom left corner of your screen, that mini map, a wall of purple kind of was just up against that wall of green from Manitoba, and all of a sudden, the entire wall of green came to crumble as Toronto Falters did the absolute opposite of what their name says in fall. Now shots being traded. I mean, some scraps tried to get through from P1, but not enough. Nothing was hitting so far, and of course, as you move on over to the point, you got Triss getting that control of top window. It's huge control to be made, but those two opening kills, 3 now from Heiser, are huge and are deadly, quite literally, for this retake.
You need that upstairs control, though. That's why Heiser is almost hesitant to stay on the point, because he knows he can't support himself in this position. Oleg can't get it done, but I tell you what, his teammate will be able to finally get the trade out. Toronto able to continue that lead, 55-12 off the second point. It's a good start, but this is also early doors.
Yeah, it is early doors, to be honest with you, Hyper, but to be honest, you can kind of take that and sort of make a counterpoint, right? I mean, there's an early start that we're seeing right now from Toronto and the domination here and whatnot, but Manitoba also hasn't really been showing too much here in the feed, with the exception of Ordeal and Higher. I mean, they've both been able to get some stuff going and get it done right, but when push comes to shove, it seems to be that Toronto Falters will prevail. But just as I said that, Hyper, Manitoba, they've won spawns, they've gotten the retake. Now it's up to them to hold this point, because if they don't, well, they're looking towards a long and a difficult comeback to be made. Here, we'll go to the next rotation over at P5. P4,
yeah,
excuse me.
Manitoba just needs to hold these spawns. P3 is a godsend of a site where if you've got the spawns, it's almost easy to hold this site, and no one is able to get in, but you've got to make sure you don't allow anyone to get in your way. They nearly did, a little hesitation, but that 1v1 with Swift and Audi will come to their favor. Now they start the rotation over to the docks. And this is where the swim strategy can come into play. I know you hate water, Scav, but I love it.
Yeah, take a look at Swift there. That's a huge gunfight to be won, and it also allowed that opening to be made for Mad Dog. So check it out. Now you can kind of start to see that green start to surround through. There goes green control fence from Ordeal. And as a result, the point is going to be successfully retaken through. What seemed to be a little bit of a lackluster start from Manitoba is now starting to be them come alive, but as a result, its flip has been switched. And Toronto, and they've started to sort of take the feet off the table for quite some time, and they realize now that they can't allow this point to be easily given away, because that's going to be the lead that goes along with it. Now, with that being said, they lost spawns for quite some time, however, but now Toronto has regained them. So with that being said, they do have those scraps to their name, and now they have to make this rotation successfully onto point and beat already the Sea of Green that seems to be their next.
Yeah, those Sea of Green are going to try and cut them off. You can already see Mad Dog in a prime position. Does what he needs to. He's right next to the point as well, so Baby steps over. The point's now going into Manitoba's favor, but Holic, from afar, sorry, might be doing the works. And Toronto, they have taken their foot off the pace here, but Manitoba have capitalized on it. Closed the gap. I tell you what, this might go a lot closer than we saw on game 1.
Yeah, it might be a lot closer, to be honest with you, Hyper. Anything goes at this point in time. So as a result, here we go. Shots are going to be gone through. Holic, he's going to give control away from top window there, and whether or not if it's worth it will be tested here, as Swift will try to infiltrate right onto the point. He gets a little hit mark as he knows people are there, but in that corner, no one will sit. So it's only a stalemate from here, as he can find one pick, but he's not able to. There it is, Triss with a 2-piece to his name. Howell will try to pick pick up the pace himself as well, but not else is going to be had. Nobody's home, but, well, he'll maintain that control over the top servers, so that could help them when they move on over to that P1 rotation, but no. Triss, a madman at himself on his own, and find another. And now a fourth. Maybe the fifth. Is it there? No, just a ring around the rosy, for if you will. He's not Superman, ladies and gentlemen, but he will do some damage at least before Swift eventually puts him to rest.
Kryptonite in the color of green will always do its damage. Swift from above will start to peer over P1, and this is where Manitoba needs to start to look and get spawned onto that left-hand side. Remember, we're in the second rotation, so we're going back to the P2 next, but P1 actually becomes more of an active site, more of an opportunity to really harvest some good points, and that's what Manitoba is doing here. And in doing so, they put themselves in good spawn positions that they are able to rotate to the next point. They just need to be careful because Toronto, they are right down south and they can easily push in. 3 already down to Mad Dog to keep things alive. A good start off the get-go.
Well, let's say Hyper too. Whenever I'm playing competitively, you got to get control of Secret, because if you do, you're an absolute menace there. And you can see right now a stalemate is being made through. Mad Dog, the last alive, is able to find one, but not the second there. They seek him out, and Toronto certainly not their first rodeo in trying to take out what's left there from Secret. So as a result, now all purple onto the board and onto the feed right now as Ordeal Hugh himself will try to make an ideal situation out of this unfortunate deficit for Manitoba. But so far, the time is still ticking. 149, now 150. Manitoba, well, they're still struggling to hit 100.
Yeah, it's just trying to break past this very strong Toronto forces, but their hair will say thank you very much. Finally, a break goes into their favor with 24 seconds to go. Just needs to keep himself alive, but he was left alone. The reinforcements weren't there in time, and they decided, you know what, P2 has been a massive struggle, but P3 is a lockdown site that we can take advantage. And that's exactly what they're going to look to do. So instead of necessarily fight, they're going to look for those rotations and look to cross it off.
I hate to say it this way, Hyper. Manitoba shouldn't have much of an excuse to at least not get a few seconds onto the board here. They spawned onto the point. They had enough time to regroup and refocus before the Sea of Purple came on through. So with that being said, yes, there was 2 in the feed for Toronto, but then there was another for Hare. Hopefully for him, that means some much needed time, but no. Bullock will find one. Ordeal picking up that trade into the process. Now spawns here. Well, unfortunately, Hyper, I'm going to go back over to Toronto. So with that being said, now Swift, he would have been the last alive to try to make the change maker. Game breaker, but it's going to be Mad Dog going to take a step up to the plate, take a swing, and a miss. Unfortunately, Triss, again, a madman on his own. Trades just all over the feed at this point in time. Hare, if he's able to win this gunfight, it could be the differential in these points here, but unfortunately, it will not. And just like that, Toronto, the nice plate of food as they're hungry to devour these scraps.
Manitoba isn't fighting for the scraps, and it does come a worry because a lot of those scrap times have gone to Toronto as well. So you've got to manifest that mindset as holding from above. Are you Batman? Because you flew in.
Yeah, he flew in like a madman. I mean, it's an interchangeable term that you'll see me use between both teams, because both of them are sort of displaying their own versions of madmen. But yeah, definitely from top, you gotta also kind of wonder where the comms were at that point in time, right? You got that pick from green fence, and then from there on out, you waited a couple seconds, jumped off from top third, and then got the kill in the process. So you can kind of start to see Manitoba, either there was some sort of connection issue, or you're starting to see some fatigue even in those comms as well. And that's exactly what you want to hear from or to notice if you're on Toronto, because that's when you know that you kind of have this in your back pocket, per se. If you start to keep playing the way you're playing, keep that attitude up, and keep Manitoba under this pressure that they need to take success in this map number 1.
Yeah, and especially when you see that the Toronto side have already put themselves in that 200, your mindset starts to deteriorate more. However, Manitoba, another good opportunity, a great rotation, and they've already started to lock down the site. And Toronto, they've got time. They have plenty of time to play with, so they don't need to rush this. They just need to make sure they have one solid break. Off the get-go, looking good as Ordeal. Well, he's not in a good ordeal of his own, no trophy down, and that's going to allow Toronto to immediately push in. Now the clock running down and points going in favor of Toronto. Manitoba are going to make the break back as they got a brief moment. And Toronto, they're realizing now that maybe this isn't going to be an easy rest of points, as Manitoba going to start to claw some back.
Yeah, let me tell you something though, Hyper. It might not be too easy for them, but if they just keep tacking throwing their tacticals and their lethals as they've been doing to get that initial retake onto this point. It will not be as difficult as you seem, but however, gun skill is going to pursue no matter what you throw onto the points. With that being said, here, that is a huge gunfight to be won, but with only 7 seconds left, Manitoba is left now scrambling to now defend P1 because 2:41, 9 seconds for Toronto, and they got map 1.
Yeah, one push is all it takes. Manitoba will have that early advantage, but there still is 3 of the Toronto players there. Odd Ood will get 1. He'll find 2. No, it was from his teammate, and that's all they need. Toronto in a prime position, but they're pushed off point very briefly here with a 5 streak. Can they finally push them off? They just need a second, need a little contest. That's the contest they need. They keep it alive. 2 points to go for Toronto. Ordeal on point, left on a 1v1. Toronto get it done and dusted. It was a dream for Manitoba, but it was not going to happen.
Consistency was key throughout the entirety of this map. Hyper Toronto was here and was here, yes, hypothetically to play some Call of Duty, but was not here to mess around and dilly-dally throughout the entirety of this map. They stay consistent on each and every one of these. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the COD Directly. Welcome back to the series. Toronto Falters, Manitoba Mallards, both 4-2, both in Silver Premade, but one has the lead so far in the series. But as we move on over to Invasion, Manitoba can only hope they can bring the series back into their name. But as a result, well, so far, higher left solely to defend B.
Yeah, that's not a major problem. Actually, you do have a bit further back Mad Dog going for the long sight, the long range fights if needed. But even if you solo a site, you can work with it. You're able to be that anchor, do a little bit of damage, just hold up the progression. That's all you need. But off the get-go, Mad Dog will take the first blood, and man advantage will go in favor of Manitoba.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there, right, Hyper? So they were listening on to you, what you were saying. Mad Dog was certainly there for the reinforcements. It's like Toronto, I'm sure, spotted out what Higher was sitting over at Square and maybe even noticed he had a rival 9, and we're like, let's go ahead and try to chow this, and instantly Olik was made to pay as a result. Now with 27 seconds left, Hyper, it seems almost like Toronto's wasted a little too much time and resource onto B because no one has been moving around very much so, but Swift, I'll tell you what has. Now the bomb's been picking up. Now Odium and Zane will go ahead and get on moving, but you gotta wonder, Hyper, if time has certainly run out into the process with 7 seconds left, and I believe 5 seconds to plant. He will get the plant off, but just in time with 1.1 seconds to play with. And now it's up to Mad Dog to make a play.
Yeah, Mad Dog needs to be careful. Check all your corners before breaching, but you do have your teammate on the backside as well to help out. Mad Dog will get the first, but Odu will get the second. You'll find 2 nicely very much.
Nicely.
Hey, don't. No.
I don't know. I think I honestly, it's a mixture of me just laughing. Look at Hyper. This is how I see this. I am just as confused as to the outcome of the end of that round as you are with your like I totally see what you were gonna say. Got thrown off just because of how much of a wild card that play was, right? You got the double challenge from Manitoba on tank, and of course we all know how that's gonna end, right? The godhead on tank is gonna win at that. So with that being said, a very unfortunate round end for Manitoba, but now a round opening with them on the board first. That's Swift picking up the first, now Higher escorting him around, bomb held tightly in hand to get a retake and hopefully win this offensive round.
It's got to be a turnaround that Manitoba needs. They need to make sure they're winning this and at the get-go, 4-2. That's a great start and no trades to back Toronto up. Manitoba, they can play time here as number 7. That's to be Ordeal. Oh, he's creating a little ordeal of his own. He's having a little scrap all around, but Holic got a sniff. He's got a whiff. He might go for the little chase down, but if he does do that, he needs to be careful because he will grab the attention of other players. What is the timing for today? That was hilariously bad.
I want to know what kind of nose you're thinking. Because definitely not that of a dog. Perhaps that of a spider, right? Because I don't think those have noses, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think anything was sniffed out there. to be honest with you. And as a result, that's a very important lesson, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that you check every sort of nook, crevice, cranny, corner, especially on a map like Invasion, right? It boils down to all of it at the end of the day, and that's exactly why, unfortunately, Holik wasn't even able to leave a dent onto Manitoba. So, both very questionable round ends from both sides of the spectrum. So with that being said, at least it'll cancel each other out for now. And Swift coming in really aggressive will take out Holik again and make him put his controller down early round.
Swift has been a bit swifty in the way he moves, and he's really aggressively forward. He knows bombs down, so he can use this to his advantage. Don't play too aggressive as he peeks his shoulder. Gives a little bit of information away to Inns. And he just needs to be patient. This is a good line here. There you go. Settle. Pitch a tent. Have a cup of tea. As to Triz,
Whoa.
he's also going to get a beat down. So that's going to be a thank you very much. But Swift got a little too aggressive, and that's not going to work for you. Mad Dog left alive, and Mad Dog has been spotted as well. So now he's going to run for his life. Can he find a way to defend this site? The likelihood is very low.
Likelihood is low, Hyper, but I think they don't really, I mean, they don't have much of an idea of where he could be here at this point in time. And of course, Mad Dog giving those shots away will change that fact. But he does have 33 seconds to move on through here. He'll get, you know, be a little smart and not play his life through dark. 7.5 to defuse. He's going to take that long route. So he's going to go ahead and need to get a chow or at least one kill at this point in time to try to get that pendulum now swinging back into his favor. But that being said, he's not able to find it. There he goes. About 7.5 to defuse. Got a 2v1. Not much else you can do at this point in time, but just sit and wait. I mean, he's got one streak to his name, so not too much to lose if he ends up dying at the end of the day. And he will try to read the pinch, but unfortunately not able to act as quickly as he can. So Toronto win that round and get the kill at that.
Yeah, brilliant work for Toronto. They just kept themselves quite spread out, made sure he was running around. But credit to Manitoba is that he was trying to pinpoint those one-on-one fights. Unfortunately, because of the nature of this map and being so big, it's near to impossible.
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier. It's like a chessboard, and with that comes using the buddy system, counting on. This is where two minds are better than one, especially on this map. You play as a team, you play consistently. You can get away with it on Rio, but not here, and that's for sure. So as a result, Zane quickly trying to get that God Heady on tank. Warning shots are made though from Manitoba. They don't want to have to deal with that early round. So as a result, that'll be a little bit of a determined. And now from CDs, he will sit and watch Ordeal, finding a great first kill there onto Odium before Zane can sort of say something through it. But I don't think they checked where Zane could be because he's there. He's going to pounce with a surprise.
Yeah, Zane's in a very, very dangerous position. We always say, especially on control as well, you've got to check broken as Zane tries his best. He can't take down here. And in doing so, brings it to the 1v1. Triz versus Hare. Bomb has not gone down. So it's a game of cat and mouse. Who can find who first? Triz will get the information, but he knows he can't aggress that. Not just yet. He needs to remain in position. But you can see, yeah, he's doubling back. He's thinking about it. He still has time. He can choose to where he wants to go.
B. Oh.
He's gonna go A. That's risky. He must have thought Triz made the rotation. 7 seconds to go. Triz is not going to check until about the 5-second mark. Now we know Bomb's been down and close. This 1v1 just got a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I'm telling you too, Hyper. Now I'm completely dumbfounded by the fact he didn't just push B because he knew how far away Triz was. But instead he played for A and it actually ended up working partially in his favor. Now, given whether or not he wins his 1v1, I don't know if he knows where those shots came from because he's not turning around, Hyper. He's quite literally playing Ring Around the Rosie right now with Triz, and Triz still hasn't seeked them out. Higher. My goodness gracious, now the chow will go through. Oh my gosh. 7.5 seconds to defuse. Higher, you cannot chow and easily run away like that because Triz, as we've seen in that, especially that map 1 hardpoint, when he knows where you are, generally speaking, he won't miss any of his shots, especially that early chow through mid-alley there. But allowing Higher to get away so early on. Triz was sick of the crap and wanted to put it end right there, and as a result, there it is. Toronto continue on chugging along the choo-choo train. You know, keep shoving coal into the burner. And now Manitoba tasked to stop this train.
But I tell you what, as much as the train is going, it's a very bumpy ride with a lot of twists and turns. So it's not a straight line, straight wins. Manitoba are really applying the pressure onto Toronto. A couple of very lucky situations indeed. I wouldn't even say it's down to strategy. It is pure luck. Is higher. Is that nade going to connect and find some good use? It actually does connect. It just doesn't do enough damage to kill. So Haya, with more information, he knows the whole team's around here. But you can't force all the rotation over in case they slip through mid.
I'll tell you what, Hyper, too. Hire might have some information, but so does Toronto. They got hit with the nade, so they know that someone is sitting here tractor and trying to get a child done, and as a result, there goes a smoke. Holik will go ahead, rise from the smoke, and pick up that crucial kill here to get the bomb planted, but as a result, Ordeal will try his heart out as well and not make an easy plant go through. 3v3 situation. He got 2 over, checking out Ice Cream, and then the last alive, sort of Swift, and engage in an extracurricular, if you will, with Zane. We got a little too spicy over there. You can kind of see now the arrows starting to point at each other. I don't think they know that they're there just yet. And now Triz left to defend the point with the last to be alive on Toronto. Got 37 seconds to do it. You don't want to overchaw if you can, but Manitoba thought they could win the gunfight and win it all as Toronto will continue on.
Brilliant work from Toronto, just sniffing out Manitoba. There was an attempt of a wraparound as well, as you can see Zane taking out that Manitoba player. So that secondary angle did come in handy, and Zane says thank you very much to get him 3 kills. And we go into, I believe, match point. No, we're 1 away from match
You're 1 away,
point.
Hyper.
I got a little overexcited, okay? I'm pumped. I'm ready for this.
I'll tell you who's not pumped for a match point. That's Manitoba. They only got one other name, unfortunately. And it sucks to say, especially, you know, given the fact that they were so close in so many rounds yet so far, especially that last one, 3v3 situation. They had to play a little slower. Things could have changed and went in their favor. Of course, now the dagger is starting to get ever so deep into their skulls as Holik will find the first blood. 4v3 now at this point in time. And now Manitoba left scrambling, scratching their heads, especially with that second nade that goes in at the last second. Bomb carrier is down. The 1v1 will ensue. Mad Dog had to win it to even have a chance left in this round. And now, quickly, no time to rest. Triss will get the chaw, but is unsuccessful at that.
Mad Dog's in this really awkward position because Toronto is surrounding, so if you are Ordeal, you've got to be the lifeline that somehow pulls something off. Because Mad Dog's doing a brilliant job drawing the players out. But Ordeal will find one, gets immediately traded, so okay, helps out, but still, bomb not in hand. And I think that's a little silly not to do that. Mad Dog in the open, and Toronto takes an easy free round.
I think that there was a possibility of things to change here. The positioning was there. If you had checked A Street first and sort of ADS there for quite some time, Holik would have peeked out, could have got Holik, and then on out it would have been a 1v1, but there's a reason why I'm not in silver myself, so I guess you don't really know what's going through the player's mind. You can go ahead and say what you say, but until you're in their shoes, you're not exactly sure how, you know, how you'd react in that specific situation. And right now, the situation's looking to be purple once again in this map number 2 if things aren't done quick by Manitoba. So there it is, a couple of tips here and there. Zane give some warning shots over across the map. And the message is certainly received. Now Swift saying the same thing to Odium. That's an early exit for him. And Triz, hello. Now Zane from behind will get the trade into the process, but not before the damage has been done. 3v2.
Dangerous position if you are Toronto, because you're going to give a round to Manitoba. But Manitoba happy to keep this game going for a little bit longer. So yays and nays on both sides as Holik got the bomb in hand. They are trying to push mid Toronto, and just as he thought he got a bit of progression, Manitoba came for the pinch, flanked them from the rear, and nothing Toronto could do.
Maybe a sense of overconfidence, Hyper, if you will, because you see a couple of shots there from higher, even more shots there. He finds one and the second, both at the exact same time. You gotta wonder, once those first shots were shot, I don't know if the attention was sort of on the smoke that was thrown and the confusion that followed thereout, but if you look at the mini-map, you'll see the dots that pop up on screen, so Some confusion there, perhaps even overconfidence from Toronto to, you know, through that smoke and to allow them to get through. It's going to allow Manitoba to walk away with that round and walk away with taking away Toronto's streaks. Two of them were on a 4 streak just before that round ended.
Massively gonna help Manitoba's favor, not allowing a score streak to come into play. But here will take the first death. This is not helpful for Manitoba. Swift from a distance can't really get it locked down. You can see Manitoba, they're wanting that A site. They have a little bit of confidence towards that site. However, even if they go north, Zane is prepped and waiting for any rotations that do come through. So we should be seeing Mad Dog fall, exactly that. And now, Manitoba 4v2, very difficult situation here.
It is a tough situation to put yourself out. You got map point, which is going to be series point if they end up winning it. That is Toronto. 30 seconds left to plant the bomb or get 4 kills, maybe even do both. But what a way to do it. Ordeal finding up 1, and Zane, that's a great control too from top blue there. You can go ahead and capitalize on that and go ahead and make that B push. It's open as ever. Free 99 is what they'll stay on tax-free weekend. And there it is. 8 seconds left. The kill is 1 for Ordeal. That's huge for him to win on the Triz, but now you got another beast to await. And there it is. Odium will find 1. Looking to close things out here, and Ordeal has already given away his location. Doesn't matter. Holik, the guy who unfortunately lost those early rounds and got taken out early into the next one after that, will be the one to do the dirty deed, get the final kill, defuse the bomb, and pop Deddy for fun.
Yeah, Toronto really did have things more on lockdown than we saw in our last series, which went back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on map 3. It took us a little bit because we love these lobbies, but Toronto Flatliners 2 maps up against the Manitoba Mallards. Well, they've got a big comeback story to make if they are going to take this home. But off the get-go, all focus will be on the first point. That will be A. Gets taken out just before the first tick is completed.
You talk about a comeback story right now about Hyper. All I've seen so far up until this point is the chapters being written by Toronto, and it's what's going to be continued to be written, as Holik will be the last alive there from Toronto, at least from Fire, and shut down the last alive from Manitoba, now forcing them all back to the respawn screens and to regroup, refocus, and move on over to B. But it doesn't matter. Mad Dog or Ordeal and Higher reigning in the feed. Now it's up to them to allow that to translate to the board. But just like that, Holik spawning right onto A. B is left pretty darn open at this point in time. And now as 2 of the purple from Toronto will swarm onto the point, not a single one of them will lose their lives. Unfortunately right now, Hyper, yes, that 1 tick was done, but it's being done very slowly at an unfortunately alarming rate with the lives.
Yeah, Manitoba are just not really coordinated here. This is not a coordinated attack. It's very much grab what we can take and we take advantage of it. And that type of scenario is costing them lives as well because it's not formulated. Because immediately, look at Toronto. They're back on position. They're back and ready to do a lot of damage. Jumping onto point. Swift's able to find 2. They're able to add a minute of extra time. Oh. But look at the feed. It's still blue and the lives advantage clearly shows Toronto have this on lockdown.
Oh my goodness gracious, Triz. You can kind of see it there, staring at the body of the man he just shot. That was a 3-piece to his name on that single point on those steps there by Bridge. Didn't get really chowed once, except from Swift, which he almost did take him out. You got to give him credit into the process. But when you get plays like that, Triz, not even having to move more than about 3 inches and getting 3 off from Manitoba, you start to ask some questions. And that being said, Zane will find another. Higher is down. Mad Dog, excuse me, is down as well. And Toronto now up by just under 10.
Manitoba, you're in the gutter. But with 1 good control, 1 good moment, and 1 good break could turn it all around. 5 lives left, but Holik is going for the kill. He isn't able to get shots off. We'll get it done. 4 lives remaining. No respawns left if you are Manitoba. So you have to play these lives all so carefully. And very much, you've got to find a good, easy break without taking a single life. Mad Dog will find another. Now, still at 4 lives for them. They finally drop 1. As Toronto Toronto find a way into the site once again. Round of bullets. Able to escape with his own life. 2 lives to go. If you're Manitoba, Mad Dog on the outside. Ordeal on the outside. Clock ticking down. 12 seconds left to go. 1 life remaining for Ordeal. Ordeal can't find a way back onto point. Sees about 3 guns facing his way. Toronto will take map 1.
They keep on going, Hyper. They haven't stopped. I don't want to assume things too quickly, but it seems as though, yes, the defensive round is always easier to win, but at the same time, no. They aren't usually ended on a map like Karachi at this much of a deficit. So with that being said, Manitoba, you certainly got something buzzing along in your brain in the mental state right now, especially given those unfortunate last 2 recent map losses. So that being said, whatever is buzzing around in your brain, you got to kill it now. You got 1 second to chat through it, get through it, and get some points onto the board, because if you don't, you're looking at the same sweep that you're trying to avoid, not only in the series, but on control as well.
Swift trying to get that AC control for the initial bloodbath that does ensue, isn't able to hit any of the shots. Audi will say thank you very much. That's 2 for myself before he finally falls. And Toronto getting some nice progression going. It's not necessarily being the quickest. Yes, 2 people are on there. Second tick done. And they're looking to have a 2 minutes 20 to go focus on the B site. Well, I say 2 minutes 20. They've already got 1 player already starting. So 2 minute 18 paused. Odie is there and waiting, still continuing to keep the ticks going. Odie with 3 says thank you very much. Make it 4. No, just denied.
I was going to say, Hyper, yeah, you got someone like Mad Dog earlier on in this round. He's able to get 2 to his name, but no other support left at that point in time. He finds 2, looks around, picks the corners, and no one else is there to avenge him and sort of pick up the pace when he's able to find 2. So with that being said, Toronto been able to capitalize on that. They have moments. There's moments right there. 2 in the feed. Manitoba have 2 off, but then Odium will find 2 right away. So it's not a question of whether or not if Manitoba can even do anything at this point in time. It's if they can do anything and stay alive into the process, because Toronto is exactly what they're not letting them do. Now they've been put into the blender. Manitoba, your worst possible nightmare. But Swift here in the back, just contest. Seek out where that player could be. Let Medog do the rest, and it's exactly what he does. So Swift starts to settle for quite some time now. Swift, another huge kill to be picked up, and you're the last alive now on B, because you need to allow the teammates' reinforcements to go through, because if you don't, you're looking at a really long and difficult journey to make a comeback.
Swift is single-handedly keeping this game alive for Manitoba, but the lives are against him, so he needs to be careful not to give too much away. He's dipping in, out, left, right, center, trying to get all the kills that he's capable of. He's still going. 4 kills to his name. And man, oh man, he's trying to claw back the loss, the deficit that went against them, and they keep going. Manitoba are not giving up.
This is it, Hyper. I can see it now. Swift and Mad Dog, the dynamic duo, are going off right now. If Mad Dog can't do it, Swift certainly can do it now. 5 to 6 in the live. This is the best possible situation that Manitoba has been in so far. Swift finally being put to rest. Now, the baton has been passed on over to Ordeal, waiting for that next wave of purple to go on through. 54 seconds and counting. They have plenty of time to do it. But as Swift has been able to get the pendulum rolling, Mad Dog will go ahead and jump onto the pendulum and sit on for the ride as well. Here comes the first chow from top single. He's not able to win it, but Ordeal will pick up on the trade into the process. And there it is. 2v3 situation. Was it enough from Swift? Now up to higher to make a clutch of a lifetime.
Gonna be one big clutch, because yes, the time will get paused, but look how much time there is. You can
gosh.
just take it all day, but no! Toronto will find the kill. They won't go for the ticks. Instead, the player will fall. Game, set, and match point in favor of Toronto.
Swift got things done and dusted earlier on through the middle of that map, and he got things going. It seemed like it would be under wraps from them. Mad Dog even came on with support, but not much else was raining into the feed after that. So with that being said, you're going to need to make sure, Hyper, that when you go into these moments, we have one team, when you got one teammate showing that energy, they're on fire, you suddenly fall back in the position of support, asking them where you need them to be, what you want them to do, giving call outs so they can continue on with their heat. and especially clutching up when it matters most. And unfortunately for Hire and Ordeal, they weren't really able to deliver what was reigning in the feed for Swift and Mad Dog for quite some time, and as a result, they were made to pay. Nevertheless, clean sheet for a new round for Manitoba, and this sheet will be written with a B push first.
A different strategy, brave, bold, and a lot harder to do. As you can, that's why players need 2 minutes to get it over and done with. Manitoba, they're doing a great start. That's 1.5 ticks completed, but they need to be careful.
Higher.
There was Odie on the outside, but Odie will get taken down. And continuously, Manitoba, hello, because they're getting a little split strategy going as well. B secured, 2 minutes 17, and now they get to go to the quote-unquote easier site to try and capture.
Yeah, this is it, Hyper. That B, I said that last round, right? It was sounding like a broken record, but it seems like now they're starting to get a little more comfortable, right? They're starting to wake up and for lack of a better term, smell the coffee here as we move on. And 2-11, almost 2 ticks have been done. Zane will have still control of top AC here, but not for long, because you can kind of see now Triz trying to defend their positioning from top third. He'll go back up right there and try to take that positioning back, but as you can kind of see, running around is Swift. So now that headache has been taken care of, and now another one has gone through. It's Mad Dog again, the dynamic duo capitalizing on one another, and Manitoba, they're up in the lives.
You can notice Toronto haven't even had an opportunity to clear any of the second tick, and that's going to allow quite an easy progression for Manitoba to get that all done and dusted. Just as I speak, it will get denied, and they are able to clear it off. So finally, the opportunity has arisen, and they can get that all cleared off. So now, all the progression that Manitoba's done has to be reworked. But Toronto, they've got this on lock right now, not allowing anyone to push through. The only one that can make another play is Swift again, going from a different angle. No, gets taken out. Is it going to be Mad Dog? Maybe. Trying from down south to pull something off. No! Triz says thank you very much. We're not allowing that to happen.
Yeah, Hire will get the trade in the process, but that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because now Cruise Missile is going to be pulled out from Toronto, and just, whoa, Swift, excuse me. There it goes, and there goes the opening that's been made. Ordeal will find one, but Zane's still sitting as a medic from top AC. Nothing is going to be made of that cruise missile if he's not taken care of first, and as a result, he will be, by the man who used the cruise missile himself, Swift, finding 2 to his name. He's telling his teammates, I'm sure, shouting in the comms, I got 2. Let's get moving on it. We only have 30 seconds to do it. You don't want to go out on a sweep on control, but it's inevitably may happen now as you start to see the live start to Swift away. Higher will finally pick up the pace here and find 1 to his name. Mad Dog finding the second. Is this the energy that they've been looking for? But it's not. Again, top AC control is a growing pain in the back of Toronto.
It really is, and now they're down to no lives remaining as it finally, Montana have, Manitoba have got something on point. 9 seconds left. They keep jumping on. They just need to keep alive for a little bit longer. 2v4, and now the cruise comes in. That's going to be the denial. Down to Ordeal, left alive. Nothing Manitoba could do. Toronto say thank you very much. That's a sweep in both the match and the series.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw Manitoba's life and passion that we sort of saw earlier on and mid map here,